Christmas, a time for family, a time for sharing, and what better way to show it than to have 8 robotic combat teams pairing up for an equal share of the glory. Each team brings something different to the arena, from experience to all-out power, and from shared interests to shared robots. Points mean prizes in this competition, as the highest scoring teams after 6 battles will be facing off in the final. As well as each other, the teams will also have to contend with the deadly house robots in this game of strategy. But which pair of robots have what it takes to be victorious in the Grand Slam Tag Team Tournament? We're about to find out. Greetings, and welcome to this very special festive episode of the Grand Slam. This time it's the Tag Team Tournament. As I said in the intro, families very much together at Christmas time, and we're exactly the same here at the Grand Slam. In a moment, we're going to meet our tag team pairings, but first, let me just say a huge thank you for supporting the Grand Slam through its first year. Can you believe it's a year ago to the day since we first began? It seems like only yesterday. But enough about reminiscing about the past. We have a war to crack on with, and so without further ado, let's meet our teams.
Team Old School. Theater and King Beetle Bust.
Veterans of the tag team, they used to be rivals, now teaming up for the very first time. Deator with its big flipper and King Be or Bust with those front lifting forks and all of the push. I wonder how well these two robots will complement each other.
Team Tanche. Terahertz and Sabertooth.
Terahertz took out Sabertooth in the classic series of Robot Wars. Sabertooth took its sweet revenge in Series 9, however. John Reed and Gabriel Stroud then teamed up to make robots Tanche for King of Bots in China. They've teamed up once again here. How well will they do? It's all about them good hits.
Team Talk. Tornado and Storm 2.
When it first came on the scene, Storm 2 managed to out-Tornado. It used to use parts made by Team Tornado, and they're looking to push you over the edge and out of the arena. Tornado we know can. Storm 2's done it before too.
Team Top Dog. Dan Tomkia and Big Nipper.
Dan Tomkia's powerful flipper saw it through to the grand final of the pilots of the Grand Slam last year. Big Nipper new to the series for this one. Both of these robots have team members that show dogs at Crufts, hence the name Team Top Dog. And so here's our leaderboard. You can win a fight by either KOing your opponent or by going to a judge's decision. It's 3 points for a KO win. That's by either pitting your opponent down into the murky depths of the pit of oblivion, by chucking your opponent over and into the trench, like so many did last series, or by immobilising your opponent in the arena through sheer destruction in the pursuit of total victory. Our first teams competing tonight are Team Tanche and Team Top Dog. Before we head down to the arena, let's have a look at their fight card. Team Tanche have Sabertooth and Terahertz, a drum and an axe. Team Top Dog, Dan Tomkia and Big Nipper, the flipper and the gripper lifter. An interesting variety of weapons. This should be a very good fight. But joining the teams in the arena for the house robots, we have one very sharp customer. He saw you coming. It's Dead Metal. Ah, how good it is to be back in the arena. The teams lining up, their 2 CPZs primed, ready for some excellent tag team work.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Sabertooth with that drummer up to speed, immediately coming in on an attack on Big Nipper's antlers? Are they antlers? I don't really know how to describe them. The grippy things, I suppose. That's a tag. Dan Tomkia comes in and flips Sabertooth. Sabertooth sails over and ends up the right way up once again, and coming in for an attack on the back of Dan Tomkia, but flipped once again by Dan Tomkia, and now Dan Tomkia pushing them into the CPZ. Now this is a good tactic. Both robots can attack in the CPZ because they can't leave. If you come into that CPZ, you have to be attacked by whoever's there, and seeing as that was both, that is what happened. A tag there. Sabretooth swapping out with Terahertz. Terahertz getting their big axe in. John Reed swing over, waiting for the good hit. You won't see him swing at any random times. Oh, but overpowered that axe blow, and having to self-right, sailed straight over the top of Dantomkia. Now with another axe blow, Nick Lynch is the axe operator. Will he get any advice from John Reed to not hit, wait for a good hit? We all want him to say it. Say it every day, John. It's how he wakes up in the morning, I hear. Around in 1066, according to JP himself. Dantomkia in underneath, and that could have been out of the arena. That looks like a tag to me, and Sabretooth coming in on the back of Dantomkia, and Dantomkia weren't expecting that, pushed away. Oh, that could have been out of the arena as well. So close to that side wall. Now Dantomkia pushing Sabretooth. Sabretooth have gone for the arena button. It's Rogue House Robot, and here comes Dead Metal. A Christmas present nobody asked for. Oh dear, oh dear. And Dantomkia, they're flipping Dead Metal straight over, and then himself and Sabretooth all in one go. What an interesting fight this is turning out to be. Onto the floor flipper, and Sabretooth has come crashing down to the arena. Has that caused any doubt? The drum has been split in half, and Sabretooth, look, done in. They're not moving. There is no movement. Terahertz have come in to continue the fight. I think Sabretooth are done. Otherwise Terahertz would not be coming out here. On top of Dantomkia, that was foolish tactics and foolish driving and foolish use of the axe, actually. Being flipped once again into this corner patrol zone, and we did not see where Terahertz went just then. They went sailing up and they disappeared, getting a bit stuck on the floor spikes, but freeing themselves, and now in with a good axe attack on Dantomkia. Dantomkia up against the sidewall. Can they escape from there? They should be able to flip off of there, but I'm not sure whether they can. They're trying. The flipper's open. There is no movement from Dantomkia, and here comes Big Nipper. So 2 robots out as we head into the final moments of this fight. 1 from each team, making this just as even as it was going in. The judges may have to mark on the aggression damage control. That was done earlier in the fight here, because I think we are coming up to the end. Sabretooth out of it. Dantomkia out of it. Cease called. Terahertz ended badly. Big Nipper did very well. Let's have a look at some of the highlights from this fight. Sabretooth really did not do all that well. Dantomkia managed to get several good flips on them. Even the house robots weren't safe from Dantomkia's fearless flip, but the floor flipper did some damage to Sabretooth. That will work against Team Tanshay. Dantomkia out of it as well. I wonder, will that matter? And the result of that judge's decision is in. It's Team Top Dog. They have the 2 points, and they will top the leaderboard at this first round stage. Remember, Team Talk, Team Old School yet to fight, but they are up next. So let's have a look at the 2 teams. Team Talk, 2 very powerful pushes in Tornado and Storm 2. Team Old School, some awesome experience. I wonder which will suit them better. Experience over power, or power over experience? We shall find out soon. But first, we shall meet who's in the arena for the house robots. It's the Titanium Terror with the diamond-tipped axe, more precious than the crown jewels. It's Shunt. Dietor didn't do too well in the last series. Storm 2 and Tornado finished within the top 10. We haven't seen King B or Bust since its first appearance in the Grand Slam Pilots.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So here we go for the second melee. Don't rule out either team here. This could be closer than it looks. Immediately Tornado with a push, but King B retaliates with a good lift and a push towards that CPZ. That's where Dietor is, and Dietor can attack here with a flip and overturning Tornado, so that'll invert their controls, make life a little bit more difficult. Of course, all of these are well-tested drivers, but that could be telling for Tornado. Nope. If King B had left them up, they may have just got rid of Tornado then, but alas no, pushing them towards Shunt, driving away Tornado, and now coming in for a side-on attack on King B. Wow, This is a good way to start this fight. A real close tussle and straight into Dietor. Dietor will want to watch out for that sort of attack. I think there's a tag though. Yes, Dietor seems to now be attacking. King B staying in that CPZ. Tornado pushing on the side of Dietor. Is it me? Or does that flipper seem sluggish at coming back down? Flipping Tornado once again. But back with another push. Always a retaliation. Always with something else, and look at that driving move straight into the arena button. The pit has been released, and Dietor don't turn towards the pit. They don't seem to be driving all that well. Storm 2 tagged in there and with an immediate push on Dietor, and it looks like Dietor has severe damage. Yes, you can just see it's been split in half up the middle, and the amount of pushing power in those machines. Oh, Dietor, you sad looking machine right now. That is a shame, and I think they're done. King B seem to be in on the attack. Storm 2 not letting up and just going after King B. I think the damage on Dietor must have been over a series of brutal assaults in the last series. Remember, they were in the same heat as Hypnodisc, as Ironside. Oh god, don't run into Dietor like that, Storm 2. Poor old Dietor is looking a bit... Ooh! That was close to the pit there, and King B with a lift on Storm 2, and if they just leave them there, can Storm 2 self-right from there? Yes, using their Shremek on their top to self-right away from the wall. Well, this is entertaining at the best. King B's got some damage. I don't know when that happened, but there it is, laying on the floor of the arena. Storm 2 with an impressive push on King B. King B, can they get away? Yes, driving along the wall. That's not meant to happen, but there we are. If you can do it, why not? Just go for it anyway. Storm 2 turning into another push. King B retaliating, pushing closer to the pit, and is Storm 2 down? Can Storm 2 get away? Oh, yes they can, just in time. King B with a lift, pushing Storm 2 on the brunt of the arena wall, being pushed straight into that and turned over, and they don't appear to be moving. Now, why would that be? Shunt with an attack. Storm 2 lay still. King B with another lift and a push. Cease. Oh, but there's Cease. No time to give the killing blow. It goes to a judge's decision. Well, a fight of two halves. King B opened boldly, pushing Tornado all around, getting them pinned for a minute, but then releasing them again. But it all changed the moment Storm 2 came on the scene. First to go was Dietor, split all up the middle, and then King B just pushed around until near the end of the fight, where they just seemed to die. I wonder what's happened there, but that may work against them in this crucial judge's decision. Remember, only 2 points for the win here. So the judge's decision is in for this fight, and it goes to Tornado and Storm 2. It's Team Talk, and they will draw level with Team Top Dog at the top of the table as we go into our second set of fights. And there you can see a visual confirmation. Team Top Dog and Team Talk at the top, Team Tanshay and Team Old School in the red at the bottom of the table. But Team Tanshay are fighting next, and they're up against Team Talk, looking to get points on the table for Team Tanshay, looking to improve their current score. Team Talk, who will win this one? Well, before we meet them in the arena, let's meet who will be joining them for the House Robots. Oh, goodness me. It's the Dastardly Drunkard. Yes, she's been on the sherry by the look of things. It's the Purple Peril. Everyone get out the way, please, before something bad happens. It's Matilda. No machine is safe. Anyway, there they are lining up in the arena. It's battle time.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So here we go for the third fight of this, and immediately Terahertz with the lower wedge has got underneath Tornado and is coming in with several axe blows, raining in the big hits. That front wedge on Terahertz managing to get Tornado wherever they want them to go. Into that CPZ. Tornado stuck between Terahertz and Sabretooth, who's there giving a side attack. Terahertz bringing down lots of axe blows. Tornado sick of it, pushing Sabretooth away, now coming in on a side attack on Terahertz, pushing back and onto the flame pit, and Terahertz taking a moment to drive off of there. Now with that axe, that's hitting with the wrong part of the axe. The floor flipper goes off, Tornado goes sailing over, and there's the tag between Tornado and Storm 2, and they're coming in for an attack, but I think that axe on Terahertz, the head is broken. Yes, there it goes. Did you see it go flying off? You can see it laying behind Storm 2 and Terahertz once they move. There it is, laying on the floor behind Storm 2 now. Sabretooth coming in, and the tag between Team Tanshay has gone. And I don't know what that came off of, but I think it may be from Sabretooth. We'll see in a minute. Yes, it's come off of the bottom of Sabretooth. There's one on the other side, but not on the side that it's just come off of, obviously, because it's just come off. So in with Matilda, and Matilda getting as stuck as ever underneath the arena side walls, and we're going to have to do something about that, I'm sure. But for now, Matilda bringing in that rear flywheel and almost twerking at Sabretooth. That's not pleasant. That won't be coming out of my brain for a long, long time. Storm 2 in with a push on Sabretooth, and something else has come pinging off. I'm not sure where that came from either. I think that time it may have come from Storm 2. But we should have to wait and see. The arena button has been pressed. It's Rogue House Robot. And here comes Granny with a bottle in hand. And she's out for vengeance on Storm 2 for some reason. She's confused, clearly. Needs to go back into her armchair for an afternoon nap. The poor senile old Matilda coming in for an attack with the flywheel once again. Storm 2 driving away, or trying to. Matilda just backing up into Storm 2. Not overly good tactics using the Rogue House Robot with Matilda in the arena. But there we are. Storm 2 looking a bit sluggish out of that. Sabretooth can't escape from the flame pit now. Trying to get a push on Storm 2. Remember, that drum is now spinning upside down, so it's completely useless to Sabretooth unless they're going to bring down some hits from above. I'm not sure. Storm 2 in with a push on Sabretooth once again. Now up the right way after self-righting from Matilda's furious flip. And we're coming into the final few seconds of this fight, into that CPZ. Terahertz looking on. Will they come into assist? No, there is Cease. Just as they start to think about it, it goes to the judges once again. Well, let's break down some of the highlights. Terahertz starting strong, hitting Tornado. Tornado getting flipped on the floor flipper. All of this going in favour of Team Tanshay. And then the axe went on Terahertz, and that will count against them big time. Sabretooth didn't fare too well against Matilda. Let's face it, neither did Storm 2. I do wonder what her problem is. So after that third battle, the winners were Tornado and Storm 2. So Team Talk will top the leaderboard for the very first time this episode. And there they are, visually confirmed in green. They're up the top with 4 points. Team Top Dog with 2. Team Old School and Team Tanshay yet to score. But that may all change as Team Top Dog and Team Old School are now going into battle. Who will get the crucial points? Team Old School hopefully need some points at all. And in the arena for the House Robots, the maniacal monster, the King of Carnage, the tracked terror, it's Sir Killalot. If Team Top Dog will take the 3 points, they'll take the top of the leaderboard too. However, if Team Old School do, they'll overtake Team Top Dog.
2, 1. Activate.
Team Old School really needs some points on the board here. Team Top Dog want to, just dominate, I suppose, and that's what Dan Tomkia is doing with King B right now. King B cannot catch a break at this point. Dan Tomkia are always underneath them, caught by the spikes, and seem to be propped up on this side. Yep, just sort of left there for a minute there by Dan Tomkia, almost to laugh at, to point at, to humiliate a little bit more. But King B finally with a push, but once again underneath Dan Tomkia, and Dan Tomkia with a fantastic flip. And you have to think, really, there is very little King B can do to Dan Tomkia unless they get behind them. Up onto the sidewall, we know that's not an issue for King B as they drive away seamlessly.
and they seem to be going into the CPZ. Yes, that is a tag, and Dietor are coming in for a flipper on flipper battle. So it's just a case of who has the lower ground clearance, and it seems Dan Tomkia does, as Dietor was sent sailing, but there go Dan Tomkia across the arena. The floor flipper getting in on the flipper battle now. Dietor in with a good flip into Sir Killalot CPZ, and he's come in with the claws unsuccessfully. The lance perhaps lifting, just prodding Dan Tomkia. Really not a lot Sir Killalot can do. Sir Killer can't, or something like that. Dietor having to self-right after Dan Tomkia flipped them, and that could have been close. It's Roguehouse Robot, and Dietor seem to be in the way of Sir Killalot, who is currently pushing them, overturning them, lancing them, and Sir Killalot again can do the job. Just not to Dan Tomkia by the look of things. Dietor will have to self-right from there. They should be able to, unless they've got stuck. They seem to be propped up on their back. Can they get down from there? King B coming out to try and help their friend out. Can they get down? I don't think they can, and they've turned their attention to Dan Tomkia. Dan Tomkia with a flip on King B. King B pushing them towards Dan Tomkia. Dan Tomkia breaks the flipper off of Dietor. Well, we knew that was going to happen at some point. There goes the flipper out of the arena, and Dietor is on the edge, and there they go, out of the arena. And now it's just King B left to try and fend off, and there's a tag. Dietor gone. Dan Tomkia swapping places to give Big Nipper a chance at having a go at King B, really going for them, but not so much here, as King B is completely in underneath them, negating those claws, those pincers. But here we see a changing of that. Big Nipper with a good grip and lift in on King B just then. King B in underneath once again. This is closer than you'd think out of these two robots, but I feel if it were to go to the judges at this point, one robot gone from Team Old School, and it looks like Team Top Dog will get the 2 points for the judges' decision. Cease has been called, and we do go to the judges.
Well, I've already told you which way I feel this fight is going to go, but at least Team Old School did something to attack Dan Tomkia. It wasn't all so one-sided, but eventually Dietor did go out. King B survived. I wouldn't call it defended, but survived, and eventually we got to see Big Nipper too. So the judge's decision is in. Only 2 points though for Team Top Dog, which means they draw even once again with Team Talk, and there they are, joint top of the leaderboard on 4 points each. Unfortunately, that means Team Old School and Team Tanshay cannot catch them, making them unstoppable in their pursuit of the final. So this round is just for fun, really. Team Top Dog up against Team Talk. Perhaps then a teaser for what's to come later in the episode. In the arena once again for the house robots, it's the mighty Sir Killalot. These two teams have been battling for the top of the leaderboard. This will be the decider.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So the fight begins. Dan Tomkia in underneath Tornado, and already a big flip into the empty corner patrol zone, into the one that's occupied by Big Nipper. Flipped over, flipped into Sir Killalot, and at the minute we're just playing corners with Dan Tomkia. And every time Tornado's flipped into a corner, a robot goes out, or something like that. This could all be over very quickly. Oh no, not quite. Dan Tomkia flipping backwards there, but back into that empty CPZ. A bit of a playground for Dan Tomkia, somewhere just to practice your flips. Really, honestly, is that the way you're going to spend this fight? Absolutely, if you can. Storm 2 in with a push. That looks like a tag to me, yes. Storm 2 tagged in, and Big Nipper also tagged in, but I wonder, is that an effective choice of weaponry against Storm 2? Storm 2 seems to be in underneath. Dan Tomkia sort them out. There we go. Storm 2 flip, but also Big Nipper flip. Storm 2 able to self-right. Can Big Nipper? We haven't really seen it do it. It's struggling to. It's a bit of a break dance, but yes, Big Nipper have also now self-righted. But Storm 2 is straight back into the middle there, and Big Nipper just can't get a grip of those sloped sides on Storm 2. So now Storm 2 has all the push in on Big Nipper, and it's a real shame for Big Nipper. They really won't be able to do all that much against Storm 2, and I wonder whether they'll try and tag out again in just a moment. Riding on top of Storm 2 at this moment. Can Big Nipper escape? Can they do anything from there? I don't think so. Yes, they can get away
from the top, and they're into that corner patrol zone, and here comes Dan Tomkia. So there's the tag. Storm 2 flipped. Storm 2 out. Oh, what a way to go, Storm 2. What a way to sort them out. And in comes Tornado. The arena button's been pressed. The pit has been released. And now Tornado's stuck on the floor flipper, and they could have been flipped into the pit. But lucky they know how to drive their machine. Tornado flipped at Sir Killalot. Warning, projectile weaponry. Dan Tomkia's practicing flips again into the now empty CPZ, seeing as there is nobody to share it with. For Tornado, they are a lone robot, both flipped on the floor flipper. Dan Tomkia having to self-right, wasting CO2. Foolish move. Could they go down there? No. Brakes went on. Did you see there? Tornado now in with a push. Dan Tomkia just driving underneath Sir Killalot. That's fine. Dan Tomkia underneath, and Tornado have gone. I don't believe it. Did you see the shot? And at last, a win by knockout. 3 points to Team Top Dog. Well, the highlights from this fight are plentiful. Dan Tomkia and Tornado started it. Dan Tomkia and Tornado finished it. That flipper on Dan Tomkia managed to get in under Tornado every single time. It took Storm 2 to take a couple of beats away from Team Top Dog, but the good tag teaming meant that Dan Tomkia could swap in at the opportune moment and flip Storm 2 out of the arena. From there, it was just Tornado to go, and honestly, did we expect Dan Tomkia to let Tornado win? Only an upset would have done it, and that upset didn't come when Tornado sailed out. So after that brutal fight, Team Top Dog will now top the leaderboard with 7 points. Team Talk on 4, and they won't catch them from there. Team Old School and Team Tanshay on 0 points. They're out of it, but they're going to have a fun fight to finish off. Just to see who's better out of the two, really. In the arena for the House Robots, we've got Shunt. This fight delayed because Terahertz's axe came clean off earlier on, and that took a while to fix. Dietor also took some heavy damage.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
King B and Terahertz coming together for the first time in this fight. Terahertz with the axe coming in for an overhead attack. Remember that top panel of King B or Bust has everything on show. Sabretooth in that CPZ going hell for leather with the drum. Terahertz's axe got a little bit stuck to start with. Another hit onto those front forks of King B or Bust. King B now trying to get in behind. Quite cagey this, trying to size each other up, I think. Trying to work out who's lower, where are they lower, why are they lower, when are they lower, and all those sorts of questions about who has the lower ground clearance. You know, all the important stuff of a robot combat fight, not actual brutality. But there we are. Terahertz attacking again with the axe, going for that see-through panel on the very top, trying to aim for something important, trying to knock something loose perhaps. King B with a push in on Terahertz, trying to lift them once again, not managing it. Now underneath, and now pushing Terahertz back into that CPZ with Sabretooth. Sabretooth coming round the back. Are they allowed to do this? Well, I think John Reed and Gabriel Stroud have agreed that that is a tag, and Sabretooth is now on the attack, and some damage to King B's back panel. And you can see it's just on the top of King B there, it's just laying there. It's now a part of the machine. It's a hat. I think it's a hat, I'm not sure. Is that a tactic? Potentially not. Terahertz self-righting. Now, can King B do anything to Sabretooth, or is Sabretooth's drum too strong? Sabretooth riding up on top. King B can get underneath with those forks, pushing them onto the arena spikes. There's good use of the arena hazards, and that lets King B get rid of that top panel. No more hard hat for King B, and they seem to have lifted Sabretooth with a push onto the wall, and I don't think Sabretooth can get down from there. King B now tagging Dietor to come in. As we saw earlier, King B not a good opponent for Terahertz, whereas Dietor might be. With a flip on Terahertz, Terahertz have to self-right, got stuck on the wall there. Now this could be it for Team Tanshay. If Terahertz can't get back up, they'll be counted out. If Terahertz don't, oh, they have done though. And Terahertz coming back in with the axe attacks on the top of Dietor, hitting right where that flipper joint is. And will that loosen it? We know that's a weak spot of Dietor. Dietor in with a flip, and there goes the flipper. And I told you, didn't I? A weak spot of the robot. This design not 100% sound, and I think it's probably time to retire it. It's not working out for them. and they're not going to do too well without a flipper in almost every single fight. Terahertz with a push, more axe blows, something came flying off there I think, or was it a fly? I'm not sure. That's a bit weird. Dietor being pushed into the arena button, the pit has been released, there goes the flipper, and there's Cease. And it wasn't because the flipper went down. I think we have reached 3 minutes and it goes to a judge's decision. Quite a close, cagey battle that one, not very many highlights, but some to be mentioned. Sabretooth causing damage to the back of King B. King B retaliating by ending Sabretooth's reign of terror, really. Pushing them up against the wall, they were done. Dietor flipping Terahertz a couple of times before losing their flipper. Once again, that'll go in favour of Team Tanshay, I'd imagine. And the axe blows finishing strongly for Team Tanshay and Terahertz, namely. But this could go either way at this point. So Team Old School take the 2 points for the judge's decision in that fight. So well done to them. They finished third. Team Tanshay at the bottom of the table on 0, but the top of the table 7 points and 4 points. Team Top Dog and Team Talk. This is the grand final, and in the arena for the House Robots, we have Shunt, and we also have Dead Metal. They've met before. How well will they do, and who will take home the trophy? Top 2 teams throughout the tournament, been tussling all evening. Let's find out who's the winner.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
So a rematch then between these 2 teams. Big Nipper trying to get a grip on Tornado, but Tornado too fast, too nimble, and those arms on Big Nipper look a little bit bent and buckled, and Tornado are just ramming into Big Nipper. Big Nipper not really been able to do all that much in this tag team competition. There's only a couple of robots they have been able to get a grip on, and Storm 2 and Tornado are not those robots. Tornado with a good push onto the side wall. Big Nipper now caught by Shunt, who's just pushing them back out into the middle of the arena, ready for Tornado to give another push again and back into that CPZ, and Shunt I think will be less lenient this time. Axe blows into Big Nipper's top, and Big Nipper will want to get away from there. Can they do so? They're on their back, they're having to self-right, and Tornado are in with a push and onto the arena button. The House Robots have gone rogue, and here comes Dead Metal in for an attack on Tornado, not Big Nipper. Now that could prove costly for them. The tactics of Rogue House Robots have not worked out for Team Talk in this competition, and Dan Tomkia are looking on as well just in case Dead Metal doesn't finish the job, and I think they've gone for a tag. Yes, Dan Tomkia with an awesome flip. Tornado having to swap with Storm 2. Storm 2 lower at the front than Tornado is. They've got a better wedge and are able to push Dan Tomkia around the arena, but for how long I wonder. Shunt in with an attack on Dan Tomkia. Dan Tomkia flipping Storm 2, and now Dan Tomkia going back for Shunt. Oh, you bullies! You absolute bullies! Going for the House Robots. Storm 2 propped up on their back, and now Dan Tomkia not letting up for a single second, going after Tornado. Tornado going into right Storm 2, and now who's going to hide in the corner? It's Storm 2 on their back, not even bothering to self-right at this point. Dan Tomkia in underneath Tornado once again. Tornado on the flame pit, and they will want to get away from there. Yes, they have done so. Another flip, and that could have been all over on the floor flipper. And did you see the height of Tornado just then? They went stratospheric. And I wonder, will Tornado try and swap places with Storm 2 again anytime soon? Storm 2 seem to be the best option against Dan Tomkia. The pit release button has gone this time, and Dan Tomkia in with a push into that corner patrol zone. In underneath both Storm 2 and Tornado. Storm 2 propped up once again, and they don't seem to be coming back down. I can't see, so I don't know. Big Nipper just pushing Tornado onto the floor flipper, and Rogue House Robot has been set off again, and Dan Tomkia this time. Meanwhile, there's not much movement from Tornado. A big flip on Dead Metal and another, and they're propped up against Tornado, and that is it. Team Top Dog take the win. Well, a really good tussle this one. Tornado tried to dispose of Big Nipper as quickly as possible, but alas, Dan Tomkia came on the scene, and that was pretty much curtains for Team Talk. Dan Tonkia has been one of the most devastating robots in the competition today. They've done so well, Big Nipper has assisted them superbly, and they've really suited the tag team ethos well. Well done to Team Top Dog. They are the Grand Slam Tag Team Champions. And there you have it. Team Top Dog, Dan Tonkia and Big Nipper are the Grand Slam Tag Team Champions. Well done to them. Huge congratulations. And we hope to see them in Series 2 in the new year. And that means all that is left for me to say is have a very Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, and we will see you in 2019. Goodbye.